Hey class, welcome back. This is Mr. Stuckey with Diagramming Sentences 205, Noun Clauses. This is going to be the last of the subordinate clause diagrams that we do. So we did the adjective clauses, the adverb clauses, we did those last time. Now we're doing noun clauses. All of these are subordinates. So they're connected in similar ways, or they look similar in the sentence. Let's just jump to it and I'll show you what I mean exactly. Okay, noun clauses. So I've got an example sentence here. Olivia knew what she wanted. All right, so let's just start with the basics like we always do. And I'm going to give myself a little bit of space up high because I can already see that we're going to have to expand up some. All right. What's the subject? Well, what's doing the thing in the sentence? Olivia is. And what's she doing? Well, the verb here is knew. Let's go back to labeling these. Subject, verb, right? All right. Now, question is, what did she know? Well, she knew what she wanted. All right. So this whole clause right here, this is a noun clause. Because it's taking the place of a noun, right? We could change this to, the name of a person, right? Olivia knew Matt. That makes sense, right? Well, if we can replace it with the name of a person, then it's a noun clause. We take this whole chunk out and put it in a different noun, and it would make sense. So, what did Olivia know? She knew what she wanted. That whole thing is our noun clause. And this is going to look pretty familiar, because this is just a direct object. Noun clause as a DO, direct object, right? It's just showing us what she knew. But we're going to graph this a little bit differently. Remember when we were using the gerund? The gerund is that verb that is taking the place of a noun, right? It's an ing verb that's acting like it's a noun. And also the participles. The participles are verbs that are acting as a noun. And when something's acting like a noun, but it's not really strictly a noun, how do we handle that? You guys remember? We draw the stick figure guy. If it's taking the place of a person, we draw a little person. Now at the top of this stick figure guy, though, we're going to diagram this clause on its own. It's kind of like in the adjective and adverb clauses. We diagrammed that whole clause separately, and it looked almost like a separate sentence. Well, that's what we're going to do up here. So you can go ahead and draw that line all the way across, and this line is just like this line, okay? So we draw that all the way across. Okay, what's the subject of the clause? Well, if you figure out what the verb is, sometimes that's easier, right? What's happening? What's being done? Wanted, right? Wanting is what's happening. Who wants? She wants. So she is the subject of the clause. All right, well, after she, we can draw our vertical line. Wanted is our verb. And we have a direct object here. The direct object is what? Now it looks a little funky simply because we've kind of reversed or mixed up the order of the words, right? Instead of what she wanted, it's she wanted what? Okay, so now if we look at the whole thing, Olivia knew what she wanted. We got our stick figure guy taking the place of a noun. Let's see another one. The problem is that they lost the map. All right. Well, I can already see that we've got a noun clause here, right? As we have the problem is going to be our subject. Let's label that. This is just an adjective, right? The, it's modifying problem. Is, that's our verb. Okay? So then everything from here on is going to be diagrammed a little separate, is going to be diagrammed separately, because that they lost the map is our noun here. It's our direct object. Oh, I did that the other way on the top one. That's a noun clause. And it's a direct object, right? Okay. So, how are we going to diagram? Well, you guys know the first step. And it should be no surprise to you that I'm starting low, because I know that I'm going to need that space up above. Problem's the subject. Is the verb, right? And I shouldn't have said direct object here. It's not really a direct object. It's a subject complement. Subject complement. All right. So we have the nice little slash because it's subject complement. Oh, let's go ahead and get the diagram down here. Right? Because it's the problem is, and now when you get ready to draw another stick figure, because it's a noun clause. This one's going to be quite long, so let's squeeze it all up in there. Okay, now we need to figure out this clause. All right, who's doing the thing? What's being done? All right, here's who's doing it. They, right? What'd they do? They lost subject verb. So start over here. They draw a vertical line. Lost. What'd they lose? The map. Now, we've got the down here. Problem here is here. They lost the map. Got one little problem. That. What are we going to do with that? Well, it really doesn't have any place either here or down here. Right? It has no function. And in fact, if I was writing this sentence, I would just take that completely out. Because we can read it without that. That has no function whatsoever. The problem is they lost the map. All right. Problem is, but somebody went ahead and wrote that into this sentence. So, how do we diagram it? Well, we're going to do this. Dotted line. You know what? Pretend that that lost is over here. Or I should say, pretend that this lost is up here. I'm going to do a dot or a dashed line off the top of that lost. And just kind of dangling up here is that. That is a dangler because it's really not modifying anything. It's really not helping the sentence out at all. It's just extra weight. But we are going to attach it. I guess I could have just drawn a line under that right here. And there. That's how it looks. All right. Got one more. Except this one is really more of a review. Okay? Because the assignment that you're going to do, it has more than just noun phrases in it. Because these noun phrases, really not that complicated. Once you figure out that you have to draw the stick figure, everything else just kind of falls into place. Right? So this one is going to be a little bit more of a review of the subordinate clauses here. The box that contained the treasure was wooden. All right. Let's go ahead and draw out our line here. Okay. What's happening in this sentence? Where's the subject? Let's label it out here. Box is a subject. All right. What did it do? Well, you might say it contained, but really, that's a subordinate clause. All right. This subordinate clause just modifies the box. It tells us which box. You could be talking about any box, but the box that contained the treasure. So this is, if it's modifying a noun, it's got to be an adjective clause. Right? And we know how to handle that. You guys did that last time. Was wooden. Was is our verb. Right? Wooden is our subject complement. And the over here is, of course, an article or an adjective. So, let's get to work. Box. The was wooden. Easy peasy so far. Once you figure out that you can just pull out that clause, it just condenses down to a pretty simple thing here. But we've got this adjective clause that's modifying box, right? So if it's modifying box, we've got to draw our dashed line down from box, because that's where it's modifying, that's where it's connected. Draw our dashed line down. And then we're going to draw the rest of our diagram here. I'm getting ahead of myself here. But we look at the sentence up here, the box that contained the treasure. So if we just look at this on its own, what's the subject of the clause? That is the subject. What did it do? It contained. There's the verb. So we've got a subject. That. The verb is contained. What did it contain? Treasure. The treasure. See, it's really pretty simple once you realize how you can break out those clauses. So that's the assignment, is finding those clauses, breaking them out, and then attaching them based on what they do in the sentence. Because you wouldn't do the stick figure for this one because it's not replacing a noun. What it's doing is modifying a noun. It's modifying box. Right? Okay. Hopefully you guys are getting this. I'll see how you're doing when I get your homework back from you. Good luck.